Hello everyone, this is Beastly EO, and today's Friday, so today our video is going to be on my top. I'm ranking all of the starter Pokemon groups um, together. So not the individual starters, but the group of starters. So like Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle are one group, right? So it's based on the region. So there are eight, yep, there are eight starter Pokemon, groups of Pokemon, I should say. Eight regions. So I have gone through and ranked them all from eighth all the way to first. So let's get right into it. So at the bottom of this list is from the region of Anuva, which were from the games Black White, Black 2, and White 2. Now these had Snivy, Tespig, and Oswalt. Now the reason why this is at the very bottom of the list for multiple reasons. Um, this particular region was supposed to be an exact copy of Kanto, and because of that, I just wasn't a fan of it. Now, that being said, the three starter Pokemon weren't even all that great. I mean, we had a um, snake grass Pokemon who really wasn't all that powerful, in my opinion. You had Tespig, who would turn into a fire fighting Pokemon, which, again, was great back when it first happened, but now that it's been done over and over and over again, firefighting gets boring. And then you have Oswald that evolves into that water samurai creature, and just the three of them combined just aren't that great in my opinion, and I just wasn't a fan of them to begin with. And that's why they are the very bottom of this list. Now, number 7 on this list actually comes from the Johto League, the Johto region. And this has Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile. Now, I want this to be clear. I really do like Johto as a game. So Gold, Silver, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver. I love the games. The issue is their starter Pokemon are not that great. So, like, Chikorita is the worst grass Pokemon in my opinion. Um, Not a huge fan of it. Cyndaquil isn't bad. He doesn't have a lot of attacks, and I'm just not a huge fan of him. Totodile is decent. He was my favorite out of the group. I would always go Totodile. Um, always, always, always. And I do want to make it clear, though. I do like the games because we got to go to two different regions, but their starter Pokemons were not that great, unfortunately. I'm sorry. They also were all single type Pokemon. I believe, no, they're not. They were the very first ones to only be single type. Because if you remember, Bulbasaur was grass poison from the very beginning. And then, of course, you had Charizard, who was fire flying. But these guys were straight grass, fire, and water, and that's it. So that's why they're number 7 on this list. They are higher because I do like their games a little bit more. I tried not to add that in as a factor, but it is my opinion, and I've decided to. Now, 6th on this list comes from Sword and Shield. We have Brookie, Scorch Bunny, and Sop. Now, the reason why they're on this list is this low on this list has to do with the same reason why Johto was on this. Johto was at 7, is because they're all single type Pokemon. Their designs are really cool though. Like Groki with his drums, awesome. Scorch Bunny as a soccer player, nice. Sobble as a sniper, a fan of it. Honestly, great designs, but their typing sucked because they were just bland. Like you could have definitely had it make Groki ground. You could have made Scorch Bunny, dark, or you could have also made him. I mean, it wouldn't be fighting. I mean, you could do fighting with him, but fighting's been done a million times. But it could have been something else. Could have been Fire Steel for all I care. And Sabo could have been Water Dark again, but they went with this. So that's why they're sixth on this list, um, because they're single typed. And I'm not a big fan of single type Pokemon. I really am not. I always like a dual type. So, going on to the next one, we have Kalos. Now, Kalos is X and Y. I had to think about it for a minute. So that's Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. Now, this group was a very decent group. Now, these guys had very different typing styles than we're used to. We had Grass Fighting, Fire Psychic, Water Dark. Now, these guys were completely different types than we've ever seen before. Greninja, awesome. Fire Psychic wasn't as great as I was hoping it to be, and Grass Fighting was actually pretty cool. They're low on this list because, well, I put them low on this list because they're, how do I put this? Out of all the other starters, I thought that these guys didn't match up to the rest. Personally, design wise and everything else, um, I wasn't a huge fan of Finnegan's third form, where it was kind of like a holding a wand. I just wasn't a fan of that. Chespin didn't really look like a fighter. He looked more like a tank. Um, I mean, that's just a personality thing. Greninja, though, was a huge fan of. Still am. Not going to deny that. But it's not just him, it's all of them combined, and that's why it's fifth on this list. All right, number four on this list comes from Moon, Sun and Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Alola, Alola, Alola region. Oof. Rowlet, Litten, and Puplo. Now, these guys are high on the list because of their typing more than anything. We have Grass Ghost, Fire Dark, Water Fairy. These were typings we have not seen um, in a long time, but definitely never as starters, and they were just awesome. Um, they're lower on this list because their designs weren't that great. I wasn't a huge fan of them. I wasn't a fan of how they looked, like their progress and everything else. So like we go from like a seal to like a mermaid type Pokemon, and then we go from a cat to a wrestler. We go from an owl to a Robin Hood. I mean, typing wise was great, but like their designs, they were definitely different, and I give them credit for it. But that's why they're fourth on this list and not higher up. Um, but they definitely were a good group, to be honest. I did like them. Um, Realistically, the top four, I mean, these groups are not ones I hate, obviously. They are just, I had to really have to really pick and nitpick these guys. So, number three, the bronze medal, is from the Kanto region. Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Now, I know what you're thinking, why are they so low on this list? Well, Bulbasaur's grass and poison, Charmander evolves into Charizard, which is fire flying, and Squirtle goes to the Blastoise, it's just water. Um, that's really their reasoning. I mean, they're up there for nostalgia purposes. Their typing isn't awful. Their stats aren't horrendous, but they're not the best. They're the first. They're just not the best. Again, it's my own personal opinion. Do not hate me for it. They are third on this list, though. I mean, I also take this with a grain of salt. Out of the Kanto region, my favorite starter was always Bulbasaur. Um, that being said, that's why they're third on this list. It has to do with the fact that, you know, I they were decent. They just weren't the best, in my personal opinion. So number two on this list, we're actually going to the Sinnoh region, which is Diamond and Pearl and Platinum and soon to be um, Brilliant Pearl and Shining. No, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Sorry. So this has Turtwig, Chimchar, and Piplup. Now, Turtwig goes into Grass Ground, which is an awesome typing, which helps take out the fire. The, this particular team actually um, had typings to beat out their weakness. So like when Turtwig of if you pick Turtwig and you go against Chimchar, he eventually gets Earthquake and stuff like that. So he's actually able to be super effective against Chimchar. Chimchar it turns in it gets Fire Fighting, which can actually break Emporium's steel body. Piplup um, is Water Steel, and I believe he learns flying moves, if I remember correctly. So, for the most part, though, their typing counteracts each other, which is awesome. Piplup being obviously the exception, but for the most part, their abilities do pretty much cancel each other out, which is excellent. The reason why they're second on this list is because Chimchar is just a copy of Blaziken. I'm sorry. It's just they go with firefighting a lot, and I find that boring after a while. It was great the first time, but after the first, you don't need to keep repeating it over and over and over again. And it was also nice to see different typing at the end. So like this was the first time we saw grass with ground. We also saw water with steel. I mean, these were definitely excellent typings, minus Chimchar. Even though I did like him, don't get me wrong, he was a great Pokemon to have. It's just it was already done, and I'm not a big fan of copies. You can do there's more than enough typing that you could have done something different. I wouldn't have been as mad if they just kept it fire, to be honest with you. I mean, that's just my own opinion. And I know what you're thinking. What's number one? Well, it's from the Hoenn region, which is from Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Sapphire, no, Alpha Sapphire, and Omega Ruby. Um, that means Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip are the best starters in my opinion. I loved them because they were just awesome. Trico is that grass Pokemon that's super fast. Leaf Blade was awesome to use. Torchic would evolve into Blaziken, which was fire fighting, and at the time that was awesome. He also knew a lot of flying attacks, which was cool. Mudkip turned into water ground, which was excellent. Um, I mean, I know Trico was a single type, but they kind of fixed that when they mega evolved him into Grass Dragon. That being said, still loved them. Their designs were awesome. Their abilities were great. I think their stats were awesome too. I This was like the only grouping where I had no problem picking any of the starters. Where each of them I kind of had like a favorite. For Hoenn, I did not care which one I got. I would randomly pick one because they were all awesome in my opinion. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Well, let me know. What's your order? Write it down in the comments. As always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, another day down. So, thank you very much and have a great night. This is Beastly Eels signing out.